This is a previously recorded episode of the ITintheD Show.
This show is broadcasting live from the Podcast Detroit studios in Royal Oak, Michigan. For more information about the show or our network, please visit www.podcastdetroit.com.
You are listening to the number one ranked technology podcast on SoundCloud this week.
Now, are you sure? Because we've said that recently and been wrong.
We were USA Today beat us out last week, but we're fighting back strong. This is episode 159 of the one and only IT in the D Show, broadcasting live.
One episode away, Bob.
Here from 160. Oh my God, it's true. The prophecy has come true. We have an awesome guest lineup. MEDC has been gracious enough to lend us Fred Molnar. He's the VP of Entrepreneurship. That's the Michigan Economic Development Corp. If you're playing at home, and we also have Mark Forche. He's the CEO of Delphinus Medical Tech. Has some awesome products to talk about. And MEDC done us good this week. We appreciate the support. And Dave, you may fire when ready.
Well, we've also got Billy Strotter in here. Nice, just ignore Billy sitting there waiting patiently.
Always ignore
It's because you shushed him like 100 episodes ago.
I mean, that's like forever ago.
It is. So we've got Billy here from Social Coop Media and also from his show here on the network, The Scoop, and we'll be yakking with him as well.
Hi, Mom.
Dave, you may fire when ready.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
You're listening to the ITintheD Show.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Where do you guys think you are? The Library of Congress? Detroit? Beyond the Sun? Any of those right?
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy Spinning to the ITintheD Show?
Take him to Detroit.
No, not Detroit. No, please. Anything with that. No.
I used to hang out at the Magumbo Bar. It was a rough place, the seediest dive on the wharf, populated with every reject and cutthroat from Bombay to Calcutta. It's worse than Detroit.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Dig you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT in the D.
So what happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bumhole?
Exactly.
Come on.
Someone tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to the show.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to ITintheD Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is Martin Cove, John Kreese from the Karate Kid movie. And you're listening to ITintheD.
Are we at a break yet?
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to ITintheD. All you nerds out there.
Nerds?
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. ITintheD Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
You're in your underwear, I'm in my underwear. Hey, let's hang out.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I have a headache.
I definitely want to see Bob in his underwear. That's a fact.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
It's just too big. How big? It's way too big.
I can get it all the way in.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
We just lost our clean tag on iTunes.
But it's delicious.
This is Robert Hayes, Ted Stryker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo Bar, I'm listening to the ITintheD Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the ITintheD Show. The tough guy. Oh!
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
All of us at the ITintheD Show would like to congratulate Dave for finally updating the intro after about 50 episodes.
March. It had been since March. I've been running the 0328 version.
You are listening
yeah.
to the one and only IT and the D Show, and Randy will tell us if we're ranked number 1 or number 2 today. Hopefully, we are the number 1 ranked technology podcast on SoundCloud this week. We are broadcasting here live in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Bob, the sales guy, always hanging out with Dave the Geek. Nuri, the FNG, is on location. He has been replaced by none other than Billy Straughter from Social Coop Media.
Yes, we miss you, Nuri.
We were happy to have you, Billy.
Introducing ourselves as not Nuri, according to tradition.
I'm not Nuri. Find us online, ITintheD.com. Shout out to Randy and Ian on the Twitter sphere. Shoot us a tweet at /ITintheD. Follow us on the Facebook. Download our app, Podcast Detroit. You can get them on the Apples or the Androids.
And you can go to either ITintheD.com/app or PodcastDetroit.com/app. And there's nice, quick, and easy little links there for you.
So much stuff for people to do. It's crazy. We're amazed anyone listens.
I know. We have needs.
But hey, do us a favor, mark your calendar. September 15th, the granddaddy of them all. I think it's the 25th. Someone's going to correct me, but it's our 25th Pink Slip Party. It might be 26th. We're having our Pink Slip Party at the Majestic Theater, downtown Detroit. Looks like it's going to be a fantastic event once again. The job market is showing itself, which is always a good thing. There's going to be tons of needs. We're going to have shows leading up to the Pink Slip Party. We're going to have recruiters on, talking about the job market, things that are going on, things to be aware of. But yeah, mark your calendar, September 15th, and then last week we gotta thank a lot of people to thank.
We do.
For helping us out at the Blackfin.
Yeah, so I mean, for what it's worth, we'd be remiss on two fronts. One, Bob and I could not attend last Thursday night because we were at a wake. Even though he was never on the show, he constantly, laughably told Bob and I how proud he was of us. So Rob Johnson, a good buddy of ours, died.
Cheers.
And so we were at his wake last Thursday night. That's why we weren't at the Blackfin event. But a lot of people stepped up and helped us out. Ian, Randy, Ray, our regular crew of misfits, regulars, really stepped in and took charge and made sure that shit happened. And we really, really seriously appreciate you guys. Can't even begin to tell you how much that meant to us.
Yeah, we were following on the Twitter sphere, and we were happy everything was going good. But hey, as we mentioned in the pre-roll, we have a couple awesome guests from the Michigan Economic Development Corp. We got Fred Molnar here, who's the VP of Entrepreneurship and Tech and Innovation. Right? Was it the second word? And innovation. I'm never going to remember that. And then we also have Mark Forche, who's the CEO of Delphinus Medical. Should be a couple of great interviews, but.
So just before we hop off it completely, though. So, I mean, September 15th, the Pink Slip Party, I believe we're down to one sponsor slot left.
I think we have one left.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, these are the only events that we take sponsors for, and the reason why we take sponsors for them is because, when we had to start doing these in larger venues because everybody was looking for jobs or looking to hire, we couldn't exactly talk the Majestic into giving us the room for free the way that we could Blackfin and the other places. So it covers the cost of the room. We bring in food. We always have some sort of whacked out thing that happens, whether it's the Ghostbusters or cryo or any of the crazy stuff that happens. Nuri's probably going to be spinning again. So, I mean, it's always a good time. But yeah, I mean, if you are interested in sponsoring, reach out. It's only $1,000, and compared to all of the job fairs that are out there, where we know you're paying $6,000 to $8,000, and this one actually gets results. So
we're up over. At least we think we know. We have to update the number, but we think we're about 2,000 direct hires from these events, just from meeting people in a casual environment.
Go figure.
So we think because as in everything we do, job fairs sucked in town. And
let's make those suck less.
Let's make them suck less, and let's put beers in people's hands, and let's not make long lines and no ties and no resumes
and no postcards
and actually build relationships. Go figure. And then let's do it right. And it seemed to have worked. I mean, they're not dead yet, so
it's not dead yet. It's feeling better. Might go for a walk.
So what? This is our ninth. We started in 2008 doing them.
No, May of 2009 was our first one.
Okay, so this is
at the Blackfin.
7-8 years? Oh my God. Craziness.
And there were years, and there were, we're back to 2 a year. There were years when the economy was destroyed where we were doing 4 a year. So yeah, I mean, we've settled into this twice a year pattern over the last few years, and it seems to work out well. And I mean,
I would be at a loss if I didn't talk about one of the greatest TV shows. I say it all the time. Everyone seems to one up someone else, but Netflix just absolutely blew my mind with Stranger Things, and I finally got through the whole thing.
Okay.
And So I was talking to people about it, and here's where I think it hit home for me, because it was set in 83, okay? And all the boys were 10. So
it's about right. Yeah.
I was 10 in 83, and I was playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I got my first Atari, and I like science class, and okay, now we're talking, and it was kind of like E.T. meets X-Files meets my childhood, and it was written perfect. Like it wasn't like a cheesy Lost at the end of every episode. You're like, or like, I
don't want to go to a website and figure out a code to figure out what the hell's happening.
Or like Walking Dead, where they suck you in the last 5 minutes and then it's slow for 45. This was probably one of the best written series I've ever watched. And at the end of it, I thought it was done, but lo and behold, I see season 2 is in the works. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus! Like it was. I'm upset you didn't. I know you got other crap to watch, but this was honestly by far.
It is on my agenda. It's in my queue, and you're not the first person to tell me that I have to get off my ass and watch it.
And usually stuff like there's that one thing that pisses you off, right? There's that one thing that's really cheesy, or that one graphic
that
was
one
hokey,
rips you right out of suspension of disbelief.
Or like, come on,
yeah.
Like your mom's name's Martha. Like there wasn't one scene in the entire series like your mom's Martha. Let's be friends.
Now, see, I've read a couple of things where there were some inconsistencies in how the aliens reacted to, say, human weaponry. That were some inconsistencies that people were kind of blowing up about it a little bit.
No one's ever shot at an alien.
Yeah, but sometimes they got hurt, sometimes they didn't get hurt. I'm just saying, it's out there.
And Matthew Modine was like the bad scientist guy, and I kept calling him Joker. It's about the only thing that made me like, right? And if you didn't watch Full Metal Jacket, you would know what I'm talking about. But
right,
that was Joker. He'll always be Joker.
Oh God, what was that crappy movie he did with the Madonna soundtrack where he was a wrestler?
Oh God. I keep thinking of not Can't Buy Me Love, the Love Potion, whatever, when it was like all
Love
the divorce.
Potion number 9.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Vision Quest.
Oh God, screw you for remembering that.
That really happened?
It really did. Yeah, that's exactly how that happens. We would be remiss because it's a thing and it's all over the media. So the Olympics, we've talked about the Olympics for the last couple of weeks. We've talked about some of the mayhem that's been going on down in Brazil with, whether it's the kids that are running around stealing phones.
The number one post on Reddit when I was in the studio waiting for you was, everyone's talking about the sewage drains in the oceans. They go, someone finally found a turd in the pool, and it was a picture.
Ryan Lochte. Yeah. Ryan Lochte, who apparently is single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, he's just trying to continue to prove that apparently if you're a swimmer in the United States, you can get away with damn near anything.
So Randy just told us we're the number 1, number 2, and number 5 ranked technology podcast on SoundCloud.
Excellent.
This week.
Screw you, USA Today.
Yeah, exactly. USA Today, kiss my ass.
So Ryan Lochte did a dumb thing, and we actually talked about this story when it broke, where a lot of the they were saying the swimmers they got held at gunpoint, they were robbed by men in uniform, yada yada, and then that story started to unravel, and so now Ryan Lochte is on the World Apology Tour.
They got security cameras in Brazil.
Yeah, go figure. They might have been held at gunpoint, but that was because they went ahead and, as he himself put it, was incredibly inebriated, and they apparently destroyed the bathroom of a convenience store.
Not because of food poisoning.
No, not metaphorically. They literally destroyed. They didn't have a bad reaction to whatever out of Brazilian food. Your name here. They just were drunk and they hit the ugly American stereotype dead square in the face.
We were talking about this earlier, and I said when I was in Mexico, it's everywhere you go, you look people in the eye and say no gracias,
sí, señor, no señor.
Yeah, like you think for a second, like great, and especially when you're on that global TV.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do that crap, do it when you're on vacation,
right?
Not when you're at the Olympics.
But how many times
representing your country?
Oh, but I was destroyed every night in Mexico, and the last thing I thought was let's break something.
Right.
Like,
because my first thought is don't wind up in Mexican jail.
Right. Or a hospital. Oh my God, or a hospital.
Right.
There was
which would be worse?
There was a guy that passed out on a catamaran. They had emergency vacuum into a hospital. And he goes, "Were you scared?" He goes, "Yeah, I was in a Mexican hospital." Like Brazil's worse. Like you don't want to do nothing. Like Nothing.
Yeah,
you
so-
stay in your I'll never forget when I did business in Mexico City. And they call me Roberto, short as Beto. So that's why I always introduce myself as Beto. So the Mexican guys always laughed because, I know
Beto
something.
box?
Yeah, exactly. That's Bento.
I know.
So I'm like,
NT.
The guys looked at me straight in the face. And they grabbed me by the sport coat. They were dropping me off at like midnight. They go, Beto, I know you want to go party still. You stay in your resort. You do not leave. I don't care what you say. Right? But like here you got this clown. Like, what are you stopping at tearing up gas stations for?
Yeah,
like,
so tore up a gas station bathroom and then left the country. And left his teammates behind to get pulled off a plane.
Didn't pay the bill
and questioned about it. So that was pretty outstanding. Thanks Ryan Lochte for making Americans look like douches to the world again. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks,
It took all from everybody was complaining about everything. It seems like you can't do anything these days without having people complain. I swear to Twitter blew up. Like, no kidding. When doesn't Twitter blow up about something stupid?
Right.
Like, we get it. Oh, man, I'm offended. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's what Twitter's good for, though. Did you guys see Al Roker go off on Billy Bush?
Dude,
totally.
I loved Al Roker. That was the best part of it is so Billy Bush was trying to either soften things or spin things, however you want to put it. It's like, he might have, embellished a few things, and Al Roker's going, no, he lied. He lied. And he was like, well, but he might have just dissembled a bit. No, he lied. And the best part is Al sitting there with his cocktail and his little swizzle
like he's
stick.
sipping some tea.
Oh yeah, just his little swizzle stick and just stirring his drink while it was amazing. And I think the pinnacle of that entire conversation was when Al finally just got fed up and he's like, well, apparently we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
That's right.
Which is basically code for you're a freaking moron and I can't have this conversation with you
Did you see the look
anymore.
he gave to the camera, though?
Oh, yeah.
It was classic.
Oh, yeah. It's right up there with, hey, no offense intended, ... but I'm about to offend the hell out of you. And yeah, when we are going to have to agree to disagree means you're a freaking moron and I can't have this conversation with you. I'm going to have an aneurysm if this keeps going. So, yeah.
So speaking of changing people's minds or Twitter being offended, a pretty amazing story came up from QZ.com that basically flat out says your Facebook posts aren't changing your friends' point of views. Because if you follow social media at all, your friends, at least I would say, suffice to say, 15% of your friends right now you hate. Because every day it's...
Or have hidden
because it's... No, we get it. No, we get it. You don't like this candidate. No, we get it. That one's a liar too. No, we get it. We get it. So they did a survey, and basically it was 94% of Republicans, 92% of Democrats, 85% of independents. They have never been swayed by one single political post ever. That's pretty much all the people, right? And you think about how much we're hammered by like these crappy memes and these awful articles.
Always factually inaccurate. Always. Always.
Right. Even PolitiFact and Snopes isn't always right. Sorry.
Right.
But like, that's what you want to chase them around and say, you're like, oh, this one finally did it. This one finally changed my mind.
Dude, it's exhausting.
No, but my cousin finally did the best meme he posted. He said, like, this is the camel that finally broke the back. He goes, I just found out Trump eats a salsa made in New York City.
God, it's a salsa from New York City.
And I go, that's it. After all the other stuff, this is the one. I just can't take him anymore. Like, I'm not voting for him anymore. And I'm like, that's really what it's boiled down to. It's like, it's getting so stupid. And no, we get it. We get it. Everyone, we get it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like, but you like. We get it.
No one's opinion has ever been swayed by a bumper sticker
or a meme.
A Facebook post or a T-shirt.
Well,
never.
That's what I never understood. Like, the bumper sticker, all you're going to ask is getting your car keyed, right?
Yeah.
Like, I always joked, who was I talking to? I was talking to Kate when she met me. She moved out to Colorado from Detroit Labs, right? And I go, I want to wear with those red Rand Paul Detroit Republican shirts and just walk around Detroit. Not because I'm a Republican or anything for that matter, but just
because you just really want to get punched in the face.
Yeah, just to see like how many people outright hate you. Like, I hate you just because like one word on a red T-shirt.
Yeah,
and it makes no sense. Like, remember I wrote that post and said all you're doing is alienating your friends.
You are.
Like, if and it's getting stupider by the day. Like, Billy, dude, you live social media every day. Like, do you advise people to don't even corporations? They can't. They just can't.
You just don't even touch it.
Well, and we've talked about it. Even if you're the person that owns a company and you're posting on your own Twitter, Facebook, whatever, you still kind of can't because it's still going to have blowback on your company.
Absolutely. We talked about this a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
on the show about a lady who owned
Texas?
it was in Texas.
Yep.
She owned a marketing agency, and she posted about someone, and she lost a
on
bunch
her
of clients.
own Twitter.
On her own Twitter.
Yeah.
And she lost a ton of clients and ended up having to partner with another company, change her company's name in order to stay in business.
But you look at Keith. The perfect example of it is Keith Olbermann, right? And he was like this smarmy ESPN guy, but you never hated him. He was a good baseball guy, right? And then he goes off and does MSNBC,
right?
And he was a complete I don't care if he was complete left or complete right, but he went hardcore one side. And then he tried to come back to ESPN and he just alienated half his constituency. And it's like, I don't think people realize that's why whenever you go to no politics, no religion, that sign's been dating back since the early days of pubs, and you know what I mean? Because nothing good can ever come
It was
of
the
it.
first sign on a cave wall where they fermented alcohol.
Right. There was a UFO, a dinosaur, and no politics, no religion, right?
As they were doing their finger paints. No.
Exactly. Grog no talk politic, grog no talk religion. Yep.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, so Brazil, let's shift a little bit north. There was a fun little thing that happened over the weekend. The Port Huron float down, which I thought was amazing. Because it's an annual thing they do, and then they float down the river. But unfortunately, the winds were whipping pretty good, and so a large number of people, like hundreds, wound up blown into Canada. To the point where, literally, Canadian authorities set up, as they called it, a refugee camp for all the people who had gotten blown into Canada.
1,500.
Yeah, 15. Yeah.
Couldn't they just open up a pizza and a Max and just fed them and
no? So they because they did background checks and checked everybody before releasing them back to the United States.
Oh, they're not bad for doing background checks? I thought you can't do that.
But it's Canada.
I'm
sure they apologized thoroughly while they were doing
it.
Sorry for detaining you.
As long as you got a Tim Horton coffee, because it's always better over there.
Right, sorry.
Have some Tim Hortons coffee. You'll be on your way.
But yeah, so and you hear that, there was the story not too long ago where the guy got drunk and decided to swim across the river. You hear
he drank a lot too.
Oh yeah, how he was even buoyant at that point was beyond me. But it's people forget. Everybody's all cool and comfy with Windsor being right there, but kids, it's still a different country. It's still a border. It's still a thing.
What's your citizenship? Don Cherry's. That was no. Where do you live? Oh, the U.S.
Oh,
let me guess. You went to Don Cherry's. Move along. Those are the days. You can't get away with that crap now. I feel bad for the kids now. I was 19 years old, and
you can't throw up in your shirt and still make it across the border.
That was in the back seat. I did. Those are bad times. You don't know how to hold your liquor. You're 19, and you're like, oh my god, I can drink. I'm going to order this pitcher and 13 shots of.
I want all the things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yukon Jack. I still haven't drank Yukon Jack to this day.
Nobody should.
But and everybody makes jokes going across the border. Today, no way. It's kind of
you got anything to declare? I'm drunk. No, that doesn't fly anymore.
Yeah, I remember my cousin Frank when we went across. He's like, "You got anything to declare? You bringing over any food?" He goes, "Just what's in my belly." And it wasn't funny.
No. Sir, pull over to the side, please.
Right. So I'm going to go bad segue right now, but would you ever, if you were in a public park or anywhere and you saw USB and sticking out of a brick wall, would you stick your laptop in it?
No, and that's why this fascinates me, because this is a thing.
It's a huge thing
where there are USB dead drops all over the world, where people have gone around putting USB drives in walls. They'll chisel out a spot, put a USB drive in, mortar it back in.
So it's kind of I never geocache, but I downloaded the app once and just checked it out. And there's you find coordinates.
Yeah.
And there's a box and it's usually probably full of porn or whatever.
Wood elves. Yeah, the wood elves leaves porn, yeah.
Right. But this is kind of like that, where it's geocaching, but for data.
But it's a USB drive. If Kevin Mitnick handed you a USB drive, would you plug it into your computer?
If you handed me a no.
So yeah, this is it's a thing, and they're all over the world, and people are they're tagging where they're finding them and all that kind of stuff, and the whole premise is hook your laptop up. First off, screw you for walking around Rome with your laptop.
Right. Who does that anymore?
Yeah. But so, you plug your laptop into this thing and then, get a file, leave a file is the premise. Yeah, no. Kids, practice safe computing.
No, but
you don't know where that USB
they're trying
goes.
to.
Can you wrap it before you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Fire up a virtual machine before you attach that
picture,
USB
like
drive.
a brick,
Oh, yeah.
like a post like a.
Because like I said, they chisel it out. They
Right.
put a USB drive in.
Then they reconcrete
and
it.
they mortar it back in. Yeah.
There are pictures of people standing up to a wall holding their laptop with it plugged into the USB. You never know what you're going to get.
It's a box of chocolates. Yeah, I literally cannot even. I can't fathom that that's a good thing at all.
Where's the bell when you need it?
They're hoping people are going to be like nice and they're not going to do anything bad. But yeah, there's going to be that one guy.
But there's
always that one guy.
There's people.
Right.
And people ruin everything. And that's how that
it's going to be like you're going to get like goatsy wallpaper on your laptop, and then you can never use anymore.
I did find this this story amusing because we've always joked about it's so easy a Bob can do it.
It's a true story.
Apparently, installing Windows is so easy that a 5-year-old can do it because a 5-year-old has become the youngest person to achieve an actual Windows certification for being a certified Windows installer.
That's not a real story.
No,
it's a real story.
No, it's a real story.
It bubbled up on a Today I Learned on Reddit, but I never heard the story before. We've been doing the show in 2014. I never heard the story.
It's a couple years old even. That's so he's 7 now.
But now he's 7. Now he's installing server. What else is he installing? But no, it's he literally got certified to install, basically be an OS installer at 5.
I don't. No.
And I don't. And what is it, in England?
Yeah.
He scored 700 out of 1,000 on the test.
Right. I don't think I could right now.
That's a C student. That qualifies you to be president, apparently.
Right. Oh, he turned 6 just shortly after the exam.
Okay.
But then I was thinking about
Microsoft great again.
Right.
I was thinking when I was 13, I logged onto a 300 baud modem and knew what I was doing. Well, I didn't know what I was doing, but my kid, I always tell them got to copy and paste it. They don't know. It's funny. They know Minecraft. They know how to set up servers, but they don't know basic Windows, which astounds me. If you ask them,
well, they don't know why the save icon looks like a diskette.
Right.
They don't know
right.
why. I mean, it's yeah.
Savvy was watching Dora the Explorer at 5. She wasn't messing with computers.
Right.
No, I had my kids on computers, but they were just would be able to click PBS Kids.
Dude, my kids have already figured out how to change wireless networks in the house if they're not getting. Oh yeah, if they're having an issue with one of the games they're playing on their laptop, they will bounce between networks like nobody's business.
You know what kids
tear it down.
You know what kids are good for? Wi-Fi passwords. Mine's a 13-digit numeric, and Mags, come down here. What's the Wi-Fi password? Knows it. I'm God. I go. My mind's full of freaking bad '80s rap lyrics and movie one-liners, which I can't remember shit anymore.
Speaking of, we'd be remiss. So we went to I Love the '90s on Friday night.
Bucket list achieved.
Achievement unlocked.
Jealous.
We went to I Love the '90s with Tone Loc, Coolio, Salt and Peppa, Vanilla Ice, Rob Bass. We were right down in front. Beautiful tickets I managed to score. So Salt and Peppa were up on stage, and the security guy was kind of laughing at Bob and I because they were I think either the third or fourth act, and we were singing every lyric to every song the whole night through, and the guy kept looking over and just shaking his head and laughing at us. So Salt and Peppa, I guess, said they wanted guys up on stage.
For what a man.
So the guy looked, he's like, come on. And I looked, I did the whole look behind me. Me? And he was like, yeah, you, come on. So I get up, and I get up on stage, and Bob's just still standing there. I'm like, would you get up here? He's like, no, I don't want to go.
I didn't.
I was like, would you get your Emmer effing Frigid, get up here. And so Bob got up. So we were up on stage while Salt and Peppa sang "What a Man, What a Mighty Mighty Good Man."
And I did the Ed Lover dance through the entire song.
Yeah, totally.
Did you really?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. I don't know you.
We were both getting text messages and Facebook messages. Are you assholes on stage right now? yeah, we are. So yes, and he did the Ric Flair strut.
When there was nobody on stage, I'm the only one. I just started doing the strut. I didn't that was instinct. I didn't think of that. I didn't plan that. I'm going to get on stage and do the Ric Flair strut. No. I just I looked out in the crowd and I'm like, woo! I had no idea why that happened.
Oh, please don't let Bob ever get famous.
So yes, that was definitely an achievement unlocked moment.
6 people in the Cadillac. Yeah, that was totally reliving the love
that was
shack.
the best part. Oh, if we would have charged $1 for everybody who walked by the caddy, hey, can I get in? Hey, can I get my picture taken with it? Hey, and of course, I've decided that the caddy is basically the car equivalent of the PBR coat. So Bob has the PBR code. The caddy is the PBR code on wheels because everybody has to see it, touch it, comment on it, honk the horn.
What year is that?
76.
76 convertible caddy.
Nice. That's nice.
It was amazing.
So, hey, we are going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with Fred Molnar, VP of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the MEDC. This is the IT and the D Show, and we will be right back.
All right, so hey, this next segment is going to be brought to you by Lenovo. So imagine you have house guests coming, but only one bedroom. What if you could order an extra bedroom for your guests that you could remove after they leave? That's the idea behind Lenovo's next generation data centers built for cloud computing. So you see, the cloud is all about giving your company the ability to expand and contract server space on demand without actually adding more hardware. Lenovo understands that on-demand access can give your company a tremendous competitive advantage. Just think about it. So the faster you can scale up, the faster your dev team can test new applications, and that means you can get new product features into market faster. But that kind of flexibility is worthless if your servers are down. Still Delta. Lenovo servers are number one in reliability and performance because you don't have time for downtime. Delta. Feeling handcuffed by proprietary hardware software relationships, Lenovo Systems allows you to partner with leading software providers to ensure your cloud solution is best in class. Lenovo Systems can even integrate with legacy software platforms to help you get your cloud solution up and running quickly. Learn more about how Lenovo is transforming the data center at www.lenovo.com/datacenter. That's www.lenovo.com/datacenter. So, hey, Bob, one of the other topics we've talked about a little bit. I came up with one of our guests before, and I know even I got a little bit of a 1,000-meter stare on this one. Virtual desktop infrastructure. It's out there. It's a thing. Primarily, I've heard it in conjunction with healthcare. So the good news is we've got Don Frame here, brand director, Lenovo North America. Lenovo is doing some really neat stuff with VDI. So, Don, if you don't mind, take a couple minutes and explain for us what this whole virtual desktop infrastructure thing is and how it's being applied today.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. Virtual desktop infrastructure is the ability to be able to centrally manage and control a full infrastructure and then be able to deploy to an end user through a very simple, inexpensive device, their workstation or their work platform. The advantages are kind of clear. Is it's easy to deploy the endpoint to the end user versus the old way, which you image a system and then give that to them. Lord, forgive if something happens to it. It's very complex to go resolve it. I can do all that centrally from a single location now. I can deploy it out there. I can control it. I can manage it. I can ensure the security profiles are kept.
Now, how does this differ, Don? Or I guess technology has to have changed from 20 years ago when we were using thin client devices. What are some of the advances in technology that VDI is doing today that thin client couldn't do then?
Now, where we've progressed to is now you can actually do a full workload or use case things on that endpoint, not just one thing. You can do multiple things like your line of business applications, the things that you interface with every day. You can do email, collaboration, database. You can even get to we're getting to the point now where we can do richer things like graphical type of enablement on the endpoint, where in the back you didn't have enough horsepower or enough bandwidth to be able to deliver any type of advanced kind of rich graphical experience. You can do that now where this is going.
So, Don, where do we go find more information out there about specifically what Lenovo has going on in the data center operation space?
Well, it's really easy. Go to one URL. Go to www.lenovo.com/datacenter. Pretty straightforward, and you'll get.
All right. So, hey, Don, again, thanks. That's virtual desktop infrastructure. Really good explanation. Really good chat. Looking forward to talking with you more about other topics as they come up.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Lives of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.
Welcome back. This is segment 2, episode 159 of the number 1, number 3, and number 5 ranked technology podcast on SoundCloud this week. 5. Was it 1, 2, and 5? No, it was 1, 3. Whatever. Either way, it's we're 3 of the top 5.
We are the Fibonacci sequence of SoundCloud
on SoundCloud this week. This is the one and only IT and the D Show. We are broadcasting live here in Podcast Detroit in Studio 1. This is Bob the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek. Billy, what's your nickname, Billy? We got to give you one. Billy Billy, the proprietor of Social Coop Media. That's not a good nickname. We need to figure this one out.
Yeah, because you guys have to definitely stop calling me Token.
No, we don't. We do not call you Token.
It's the Shusher.
The Shusher, yeah. Find us online, ITintheD.com. Give us a like on the Facebook, follow us on the Twitter, and do us a favor, leave us a review on the iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it. And we got Bob Miller from MEDC has been great to the program, and he booked us another couple great guests. But we have Fred Molnar here, who's the Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation for the MEDC. Fred, thanks for hanging out with us.
Well, thank you, Bob and Dave. Appreciate the invite.
So MEDC, I don't know if everyone knows what exactly you guys actually do. I know you're there and I know you help, right? But what exactly, for entrepreneurship, and obviously you're trying to attract businesses, but I mean, at the end of the day, what is the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Group trying to accomplish?
Sure, I appreciate that. The MEDC, a lot of people don't know exactly what we do, and there's multiple things. One of them is business attraction, where we try to entice companies from outstate or outside of the country to come to Michigan. One of the things that people really are not familiar with, but MEDC does, is Pure Michigan. So that is an MEDC program. The thing that I'm responsible for,
which is one of the, it's ranked what? Isn't it one of the number 1 ranked tourism marketing programs in the country?
Absolutely, yeah. It's won multiple awards, and it's mimicked by other states.
And it's mimicked by people here.
Yes, exactly.
They're
mocked.
Yeah.
Mocked. Sorry.
So the Entrepreneur and Innovation team, we focus on very, very early stage technology companies. What I mean by that are companies that are really pre-revenue. So in other words, it might be a spinoff from a university, might be a regular entrepreneur.
See, I watched Shark Tank enough to know that pre-revenue is kind of like the kiss of death. You guys will actually talk to those people?
Yes.
Okay.
Because if we don't,
someone else will, yeah.
Well, no, they'll languish. They won't go anywhere.
Fair.
Because the reality is a lot of people do not want to take a risk on a company that is not making any revenue yet. And so that's where the state can help out. So the MEDC, what we try to do is we try to support those young companies through various programs to try to get them what we call the Valley of Death, which is essentially from the formation of the company to when they actually have revenue. And that gap is what we try to fill.
So basically trying to get people out from underneath that, it's usually like the VC umbrella, if you will.
Yeah. We try to get them to the point of where a VC or an angel or a VC would be interested in the company. So that early stage, that can take, depending on the technology and the market, it could be 6 months, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years to get to that point where there's actual interest from an angel or a VC to invest in the company.
What are some of the things that you guys do to help them get to that point?
Multiple things. If you think of a company that is starting up, they really need 3 things. They need a location. We call it bricks and mortar. So they need a place to reside, relatively inexpensive, okay? And we would call that an incubator. The other thing that they would need really is talent. Sometimes if it's a university spinoff, you might have a very bright PhD, but they don't have a business knowledge. They don't have the understanding of what it takes to take their idea through to a product. And so we also try to help them with talent. And the third thing really is access to capital. You can have a great idea and talent, but if you don't have money to support them, to get them through the next stages, everything just slows down or stops.
So how's capital looking these days? Because it goes on swings, right? Where it's available and then it's gone, and then it's available and then it's gone. And where are we at in that cycle? Do you know?
Yeah. So the state of Michigan really is doing very well for VC funding and angel funding. We've improved dramatically, over 50% over the last 10 years. What the current issue is there's a lack of appetite to take risks. Okay, so the VCs are becoming a little more cautious.
Well, we're seeing that the VCs are looking at more or less apps that when you talked about like brick and mortar, they're not looking at traditional or old business. They're looking at like these apps, these, hey, we're doing Uber for this type of business. Hey, we're doing, we're trying to redefine that in an app format. I mean, are you seeing that too, or is that just us on this side?
Yeah, no, there is a lot of that. But if you look at the actual funding of VCs, the majority of it is going into medical and biotech.
Okay.
That is the primary. It's about 55%. About 30% of it is going into information technology. And then the rest is split up among various segments.
I guess it's a good thing because seeing, we're talking about diversifying the economy in Michigan. Everybody says we're so stuck on auto.
Right.
Seeing that a lot of it's going into bio, that's actually good news, right?
That is exactly what we're trying to do. Obviously, the state is very automotive heavy, which has been fantastic for the state.
Sure.
But what we're trying to do is prepare for the next downturn, right, and diversify the Michigan economy. That's what our overriding goal is.
So we see the term said all the time, what's called the smart zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've taken advantage of it because to be honest, a lot of people don't know what it is. So I guess what in the blue hell? I don't know how to say what are smart zones, I guess, and how do people take advantage of them?
Yeah. So smart zones, it is an MEDC program, and there's 17 smart zones throughout the state. 3 of them are up in the Upper Peninsula, in Houghton, Hancock, Marquette, and Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
The rest of them are all spread out through the Lower Peninsula. Okay, and a smart zone is a geographic region, relatively small, let's say Grand Rapids or Holland or Muskegon or Ann Arbor. So they're a regional program, and the idea there is to pull everyone together in the region for diversification. So it's typically associated with a university, okay? So take Ann Arbor Spark, which is a smart zone.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes.
I was going to ask, there's like a Macomo U incubator. Is that is one as well?
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's Macomo U Inc., there's OU Inc.
Sure.
There's Automation Alley, Tech Town, Ann Arbor Spark. Could go on and on.
We've had to speak at a few of those.
Yeah. And so the idea is they work with the universities, they work with the local VCs and angels, they work with the local businesses, and they work with the MEDC, and we try to pull all the resources together locally to get those small companies, again, from a startup to a standalone company where they actually hire individuals and then pay taxes.
Is the Woodward Corridor Technology Smart Zone, does that still exist?
No, the Tech Town would be the smart zone for the city of Detroit.
Right.
And Billy, your company's in Tech Town.
Yes. I was just curious.
Laying up a softball there.
Yeah, that's all.
Fair.
So, okay, so there's all these programs out there. Like, how do I, the entrepreneur, find out about them? Like, where do I go to find out where one of these smart zones is, how I hook into them, and what you guys can do for me?
Yeah. Well, first of all, where I would start is the web. I'd go to michiganbusiness.org, and that would be the first startup. From there, you'll find a list of all the smart zones. So if you're located regionally, let's say you're in this area, and you want to hit a smart zone, you'd hit Tech Town. Okay, so there would be a link to Tech Town. And then Tech Town then is the first gateway to the MEDC support mechanisms. And then once you get in through the smart zone, then you have access to all the MEDC programs, which are various and pretty significant.
So, I mean, what are some of the success stories, I guess, as of late? Are there any names that you can talk about that we might know or that have gone through the program kind of from early stage incubation to like, okay, these guys are kind of a player now?
Yeah, well, certainly your next guest, Mark Forche from Delphinus, has been a very good success for the state of Michigan and the MEDC.
Good.
So I guess at any given point, like right now, like how many groups, entrepreneurs, foundling companies is MEDC working with in the course of this whole program?
Yeah. Actively about 1,800 companies, yes,
wow,
across the state. And some of them, of course, are more active than others. Right. And certain smart zones are more active than others. The highest producing smart zones would be Ann Arbor Spark and Grand Rapids and Tech Town and Automation Alley. Those would be like the big fours you could think of population-wise, geographic-wise. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know Automation Alley was. Interesting.
So I guess is is there a typical expectation when it comes to, okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit the website, I'm going to go ahead and start the ball rolling? Like, what's that process look like for somebody? Is it days? Is it weeks? Is it months? Is it like, how does that typically go?
So it depends on the stage of the company, because some companies don't know about the support mechanism.
Right.
They already might be farther down the path. But take a very young startup company, and when they go to the Smart Zone, that's probably a week process to kind of get into the system and know what we offer. And then from that point, then depending on what their needs are, we would call in our third-party service providers. So what the MEDC does, we do not actually do the work. Okay, we grant to various grantees like the Small Business Development Center, which we call the SBDC.
Okay.
We in a sense hire them, and then they come in and work with the company. So they would look at their business plan, they would look at their financial model, they would look and see if they need access to capital, if they need talent, their pitch deck, things like that. So we'll actually work with a company and try to get them to the point where they can take the next step.
Okay. I'm just trying to think. So I guess what haven't we hit on that we should have?
I would say, let's talk about capital, I guess. So one of the programs that the SBDC has, if it's a small company, and again, the angels have kind of moved upstream. They're not willing to take as much risk as they used to. The VCs who are after that have also moved upstream, and they're not taking as much risk. So where the state can help out is at very, very early stage. And so we have multiple capital access programs that help fund very young companies and get them to the point, like the Pre-Seed 2.0 fund or the First Capital Fund.
Okay.
I think that's important to note, that's where the state fills a very important void.
Now, and when you say like higher up the chain, like, so what dollar range are we typically talking about there, or is it just very wildly?
So where the state would come in, we would help out with relatively small amounts. Let's say $5,000 to $50,000 in that area. That's sort of the very early stage. And the idea there, we'd call it a proof of concept fund, where the idea is to make certain the idea is valid. Because what you'd want to do is you want it to fail early. You want it to fail early so it gets out of the system, doesn't clog up the system, doesn't waste anyone's time or money. Right. So that
makes sense.
Yep. So that's the idea. And then once you get past that, then you get into the pre-seed fund, and that's up to $500,000 per company. And then once you get into the angels, then you're talking, $1 million or more, and then the VCs, as Mark will tell you, in the multi-millions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
how about podcast studios? No, I'm just kidding.
That's not high tech. No,
exactly.
Yeah, we're not very high tech at all.
Right.
So I guess the other area that we haven't talked about is the university. So we have various segments. We have services, we have funding, we have the smart zones, and the last thing would be the universities. A lot of the ideas come out of universities. For example, again, your next guest, that came out of Wayne State University, that idea product. So that's happening all over the state. So we have multiple programs to help translate a university idea into either a license or a product or a company. And that's one of our focuses also.
So, are they coming to you with these ideas and saying, hey, we want to take this to the next level? Because a lot of times those ideas are done in a business class, right? And they kind of get to the wayside after they get their final grade, right? And they never sees the light of day.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of those ideas that just wither on the vine and they don't go anywhere. So what we're trying to do is make certain that they know there's a support mechanism, and we support that financially for them to take that idea and actually run with it, to convince them that it is a good idea and it could result in a company or a business.
Perfect.
Well, and I know one of the questions anybody always has when it comes to like capital investment and all that stuff is, so what's the risk to me, bringing my idea, my company to MEDC? Is there an ownership stake that changes hands? Is there how does that all work?
Yeah, no, there's no. So the MEDC, I should be clear, we do not pick winners and losers. We're not in that business. We don't take any ownership in anything. That's not what we do. What we do is we hire third-party people to actually do that work, okay? And they don't take ownership in either, and also They sign confidentiality agreements. So whatever you discuss with our service providers, we do not know exactly what's going on. Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. So if people want to take the next step, what do? Go to michiganbusiness.org?
Yes. Yep. The first start would be michiganbusiness.org.
And then find your local incubator and then go from there.
Yep. Find your local Smart Zone, and then the Smart Zone will put you in the queue for all of the MEDC programs.
Perfect. Fred, appreciate the time. Look forward to seeing more people come through the turnstiles here because it's nice to have.
We're going to talk to somebody who went through it.
I was going to say it's nice to have Mark here, and we look forward to future guests. But yeah, Fred, appreciate the time spent. Fred Molnar, Vice President of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at MEDC. We're going to take a quick break. Come back with Mark Forche, the CEO of Delphinus Medical Technologies. This is the IT and the D Show, and we'll be right back.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D Show.
Welcome back. Segment 3. This is episode 159 of the one and only IT and the D Show. We are broadcasting here live in Podcast Detroit, beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Spot the Sales Guy hanging out with Dave the Geek. Billy Estrada from Social Coop Media is in the house replacing Nuri the FNG, who's on location somewhere, but we don't know where. Find us online, IT in the D.
He's found it better and easier for him in the long run to just not tell us where he's going.
They had the top 10 places you can live on for $200,000 for the rest of your life.
I saw that.
And I think he went there, one of those places.
It's possible.
Yeah, I know it's not Singapore because he said it's expensive as hell, but it's one of the other places. Find us online, ITintheD.com, and do us a favor, leave us a review on iTunes. We would greatly appreciate it because nobody
Which
does.
you can do by going to ITintheD.com/iTunes.
Yay, Dave did it.
Nice and simple, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, we did mention the Pink Slip Party. September 15th. One thing we do have in the works that we got to nail down and finalize is, I believe, on September 1st at Blackfin. So 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks before the event, we're going to be helping Aero Strategies do a resume workshop. Just hanging out in the back room, bring your resumes, have recruiters take a look at them.
So that's confirmed?
Yes.
Cool.
They're gonna run it like we do. No sales pitches, no nonsense. They just genuinely want to help people leading up to the Pink Slip Party event. So that's going to be Thursday, September 1st at the Blackfin. We'll get the info out about that shortly.
Cool. So, hey, we are joined by an MEDC Smart Zone graduate. Can I call you that? Is that bad?
Yeah.
It sounds like you just started your company yesterday, but it's totally not the truth. We got Mark Forche here, the CEO of Delphinus Medical Technologies. And I guess let's throw you the softball and say, what in the world is Delphinus Medical Technologies?
Well, that is a softball. So Delphinus is a company that I'd say every day the employees of the company go in to transform early detection of breast cancer. It's a pretty audacious goal. When you stop and look at this, though, there's
I'm already in. My mom died when I was 16.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yep.
My mom had breast cancer too. So, and you look at this, there's a huge need. There's more than 40,000 women die from breast cancer every year. There's 1.4 million women that have biopsies each year, 80% of them benign. So there's really need for technology here. And Delphinus has a system called SoftView. It's an automated whole breast ultrasound. So no compression, no radiation.
So kind of getting away from the mammograms that
no
all women hate. Yeah.
It's a water bath that women put their breast in, and then a ring transducer comes up to the chest wall and then sends sound signals, and we send the sound signal through the breast.
I thought dolphins.
Delphinus. That's dolphin in Latin. Is exactly what it is. That's the where the name came from. But we send the sound signal, and we get the reflection off the masses in the breast, but we also catch it on the other side and capture the change in sound speed and then the attenuation data. So there's a massive data set here that we then use sophisticated algorithms to crunch down into images. And ultimately, we can not only see the masses, but we can tell the character of that tissue. So it's an incredible technology, and we think it's a real breakthrough.
So how did you, I guess, what was that epiphany that said, like, hey, they're doing it wrong. Here's this idea. Let's bring this to market. I mean, where did that whole thing start?
Well, that really started with the two founders, Dr. Neb Durek and Dr. Peter Littrip. They were at Karmanos Cancer Institute, Wayne State. And about 17 years ago, they had this concept, and they started working on this in the lab at Karmanos, eventually spun it out into a company, Delphinus, in 2010. And that's when we wound up in the Michigan Innovation Life Sciences Center as a young company. So it was just a really small group of people that went into MILSIC is what we called it, and started to build the company there. Now it's now we've raised more than $58 million in venture capital backing, and are advancing this
58?
to 58 million.
Wow.
Yeah. So our last round was the largest medical device round in Michigan history. And we've got some incredible backers in the state of Michigan. Arboretum really started with the very beginning of the company. So did Berengia, who's here in the Detroit area. North Coast Technology Partners, Alterum was in the company in the early stage. Then in this last round, it was led by venture investors, and Hope and Life Sciences joined in, as well as Waycross Ventures. And Waycross is a Silicon Valley firm. So, we've got some tremendous investors to advance the company, and we're all doing it for the right reason. Just like you said, it's an incredible need.
So, and was it with this latest round, or as a result of the latest round, or before the latest round, you moved to a new facility in Novi? Yes,
it was. We moved to a new facility in Novi about 3 months ago.
Okay.
And it was after we got this round of financing, the company started to grow, and we were really kind of bursting out of the seams of our space at MILSIC. I think we had the biggest space at MILSIC. We had maybe about almost 8,000 or 9,000 square feet there. Oof. But we, now we're 50 employees and needed the space to develop things in the lab space, and so that's why I moved to.
So you came from Silicon Valley, right?
I did. Yeah.
Now, why in the Blue Hell?
Years there.
Why'd you come back to Detroit? You never hear I moved back to Detroit. It's always like, everybody asks, "Are you born and raised here?" I'm like, yeah. Why else would I be here? But you never hear that story. Like, what brought you back?
Well, I think when I look at my experience, I spent 33 years in ophthalmology. I sold my last company in 2014, and I was kind of looking for the next thing that I could find that was a truly breakthrough transformational technology. And I heard about this technology through a friend of mine in Silicon Valley told me about it. And I started digging into it. And, of course, my mom had breast cancer, so I thought, if there's ever something I wanted to really pour my heart into, this would be a good thing to do that. And as I dug into it and did a lot of diligence with radiologists around the country, what I heard is that they were very impressed with the core technology and said, "Man, you need to go do this because this is something we need."
I'm sure women everywhere are rejoicing. I'm just throwing that out there.
Right.
Well, I think about this product: no compression, no radiation, water bath. This product, when we launch it, I think is it's going to be a viral sensation. As soon as this is on the market, I think women will tell their friends, "Go have this exam."
So, and I guess that's a key phrase there. When it launches. So, I mean, what is where are you in the life cycle, and when is this targeted to come out?
Yeah, so we've been working on this a long time, 17 years to get this to this point, and it's that kind of time frame because it's a really difficult physics problem to solve. But we are now moving on two fronts to the future. One is we expect to launch this commercially later this year at a big meeting called the RSNA, which is in Chicago. And we're also launching a 8-site, 10,000-patient clinical trial, 8 sites around the country, and that is for us to earn a screening indication adjunct to mammography.
Okay.
And that is a huge trial for us to do. But I think that really speaks to our confidence in this.
So those 8 sites, do you have to then basically take the tech that you've developed here and go install it? in other locations?
We do. So these sites are, they're clinical partners of ours. So that each one of them will have a soft view system, and it'll be the latest developments of everything here included in that system. And we estimate that it's going to take about 10,000 patients to accomplish our clinical goal to get the screening indication. And so those 8 sites, we've actually started shipping those units right now and working with the sites to get going.
So how long do you expect that? I mean, so 10,000 patients, how long do you expect that trial to run?
We expect to be done with that by the end of next year.
Okay.
Be done with that and actually submitting for the indication by the end of next year.
I got to ask the obvious question: are any of those sites here?
We are in discussion right now, and so I can't speak to that.
I mean,
yet,
I'm just saying, if it was a spinoff of Carmanos, one would think. I'm just saying.
Well, I'll tell you, Carmanos is our foundation. That's our home.
Yep.
We've done so much with them, but stay tuned for our announcement.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I guess at what stage did you approach the MEDC? I guess let's do kind of segue the two interviews together. And I guess what did you take advantage of, and how did you go about that process?
So I think we approached the MEDC when we had very little money and very few people, and we're at a really young stage in the company. So 2010 is when it spun out of Carmanos, and there were only about 5 or 6 people, Doctors Durick and Littrop. And they had generated the initial prototype, so went to MEDC and moved into the Millsick facility. And I was thinking as Fred here was talking, what kind of things did we really take away from that? And if you think about what makes a company successful, you have to have a unique vision that satisfies an unmet need. We clearly have that. We check that box, no question about it. But you've got to have incredible people. And the people that we have in Delphinus are the best and brightest people that we can find anywhere. And they are, physicists, scientists, PhDs that are chasing this really difficult problem. And the location of Millsick sits right in the middle of an incredible talent pool. You've got the University of Michigan right around the corner. You've got all the people in Detroit, all the engineers in this kind of organic environment. We've got people from Michigan State. We've got people from Wayne State. We're starting to now do routine recruiting at places like Lawrence Tech. I want to go take a look at those engineers. So there's a great talent pool for us to have access to. And then the other thing is, access to capital. So it's kind of an interesting thing when we were doing our last round of fundraising. I walked in the door one day, and Fred met me at the door, and he said, "Hey, we have a venture firm here that's looking for new potential investment opportunities in biotech. Do you want to talk to them?" And so we did. We were just kind of walk right into the conference room.
I have to
talk to them about our opportunity. But so that kind of organic environment, being around other entrepreneurs that are wrestling with their problems and sitting at lunch. There's a cafeteria there. There's a fitness center there, conference rooms, and we do, events together. And it's just neat to be in that kind of environment to build your company in.
So one of the things I don't have any clue on how to do, and maybe you can enlighten because maybe there's other people that don't, but getting a medical device approved, built, approved through the system, ready to market, I guess without taking 14 years on explaining it, what's that process look like? Is it?
Well, you know what? There are a lot of steps. You have to think about the FDA. You've got to go through, either a 510K process, which is a fairly short process that medical devices go through, or you might have to go through a PMA. And so this PMA process is what we're going through to get this.
When it's electric, so you have to be UL certified too, right?
We've got to get that. We just installing in California recently. We had to have the labels that stickers. We had to have earthquake brackets for the system for California. But so depending on the actual indication that you're seeking, it can be anywhere from a relatively straightforward, shorter process to a very long process to get an indication like we are, but with a massive clinical data set behind it. But that's only one part. So you've got to also think about reimbursement. So you can build the greatest technology in the world, but if you can't get it paid for, by CMS or by patients, some combination insurance, then your technology can fall flat.
Sure.
So you have to wade through that. And one of the things I'm really excited about is we have this incredible breakthrough, game-changing innovation in soft view and our triple acoustic detection technology, but it is already covered by the reimbursement codes. So one of the key, blocks to achievement with the device is behind us, and so that's exciting. And then you've got to have momentum and belief in the people that use the product. So they've got to see the clinical results. They've got to believe that it does what you say it does and delivers real value.
Well, at this, you can't have one error, the smallest percentage of error. I mean, you have to be there's no messing around.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. And the inherent design of this system, though, really gives the radiologist an incredibly unique view of the tissue in the breast, because as they look at the screen, they're looking at 3 coronal plane stacks. So they're round circular stacks of images, reflection, sound speed, and attenuation data, and they're able to scroll through those 3 stacks of data and visually able to gather from that incredible information that they've never been able to have before.
I was
that tissue characterization.
The first time you misdiagnose, you're done.
Yeah,
like literally.
Well, I guess is that part of what you have to go through now, because I as a radiologist know. I know how to read the results of a mammogram. Yeah. I know how to read the results of – so, how do you get people familiar with and interpreting that data properly? Because it's not just the machinery. It's, okay, what does the machinery spit out, and how do I build the diagnosis off that?
Yeah. So we have to have an incredible training library, incredible training deck that lets them see evidence of what different masses look like on this type of system.
So, you almost have to go through a one-to-one. It's okay, here's what you're used to seeing in this situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's what that would look like here.
That's what I just spent my afternoon doing.
Oh, there you go.
So we had a radiologist that was spent the entire afternoon going through a stack of images, patients that we have done in various sites, so that they can become familiar with that. And so we go through that training process prior to them, launching into this trial, because they're going to be looking for – actually what they're looking for in our trial are cancers that mammography misses and in dense breasts, because in dense breasts,
it's easier for stuff to hide.
Misses about 50% of cancers. Essentially, it's kind of like looking for a snowball in a field of snow. And this makes it just really – pop out in the different views, and the different views have different visual cues that kind of make this jump off the screen. It's really incredible.
Very cool.
The cool thing is this stuff's happening here, right? We always talk about, everyone talks about the damn automated cars because that makes the news. That's it'd be nice to see this stuff on the news once in a while. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because it's life-changing. It really is.
Yeah. This is, I have to say, I've looked at a lot of medical device technologies. This is a breakthrough that has the potential to change the world. It is a major transformation, kind of flip the world on its ear technology, and it was invented here, and we're really excited about it. That said, too, I'm going to say that I am a huge automobile enthusiast, and as an entrepreneur, I find the whole automobile culture incredibly attractive to be around here. And I think it's something that, I know it's intriguing to also bring other things in, but, we should never forget the differentiated things as a culture, as an area that we have, that nobody else has anything like the Dream Cruise and all that stuff. That's just incredible.
Missed the Dream Cruise this year. It was raining.
God, I was
bummed.
Yeah, I was there the whole day.
My kid. Oh, were you?
So everybody spends all day, every day, twice a day, bitching about traffic back and forth to work, and then wakes up on the weekend and goes to Woodward for the Dream Cruise. Yeah.
You know, they scheduled a 9-year-old girls soccer tournament on the Woodward Dream Cruise. I'm like, thanks a lot, guys. Had games all day. I'm like, that's great. This is great. No, I don't want to. I don't want to complain in the heat in my convertible.
Right?
Which is what I do anyway.
First world problems.
Exactly. But no, it's great that you're doing the company here. How do we find you online if anybody wants to look you up or wants to?
DelphinusMedicalTechnologies.com.
Okay.
So check us out there and just stay tuned. I mean, you're going to start seeing a lot about stuff about us as we, you'll hear a lot about us in October as we launch this trial, and then later on this year as we launch the.
We're going to find you a shorter URL. I think it's the longest URL we've had on the show.
So it's what, DelphinusMT.com?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I was going to say, you said medicaltechnologies.com. It's only your company.
That's what we're here for. I'll edit his
Hey,
out
you
and
were the
post.
IT guys, right? You're the IT guys.
Sorry, it's what we do. We make people sound smart, and we edit it all in post. That's it.
Mark, appreciate the time. Wish you nothing but the best and continued success. And hey, we're going to wrap things up here for this episode 159 of the IT and the D show.
No, now we're going to come back and talk to Billy.
Billy said he didn't want to talk.
I'll talk if you.
I asked him, and he said no.
I thought that was a given. That we were.
Yeah, I figured I'd let you guys have an early night off.
Oh.
All right, well, then I guess maybe we're wrapping up. Sorry, I was just running on natural assumption that we were going to talk about him and his show. And
I asked them on behalf. Oh, yeah, let's talk about your show.
Okay, let's talk about our show.
All right, so we are coming back.
All right, we'll be back for segment 4. This is the IT and the D show, and we will be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hey guys, it's Time Hawk, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the ITintheD show.
ITintheD.com.
This is a previously recorded episode of the IT and the D show.
Welcome back. 4th segment here, episode 159. This is the IT and the D show, and we are broadcasting here live at Podcast Detroit. Bob and Dave. Bob the sales guy, Dave the geek. Find us online, ITintheD.com, and you know what to do when you get there. Check out the Meet tab, which is MEET. Find out when we're meeting up.
Not the Meet Stick tab.
No. Find the Learn tab for like all the cool programs going on and learning things. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff too. Work. We got a job board. All that other stuff. But yeah, ITintheD.com. We are joined by a longtime friend of the program and new podcaster here at Podcast Detroit, Billy Straughter here.
Hi.
What is going on?
Oh man, it's
you're what, 6 episodes in now?
Tonight was episode number 7.
Oh,
it's so I'm kind of old hat at this. I mean, I've been coming on the show long enough.
We still hate our first 10.
Yeah,
so.
I really don't like to listen to my own podcast. At least the first few. It's a work in progress. I mean, we talk about.
So what's it called?
It's called The Scoop.
I knew. I was just asking you.
Yeah, The Scoop with Billy Straughter. And we have usually we're talking about what's new with social media and digital marketing. Have a guest on every week. Usually
the
someone.
The Twitters.
The Facebooks, the Twitters, the Snapchats, the Instagrams, the LinkedIns. I mean, I know you guys, how big of fans you guys are of LinkedIn. You guys.
It's a necessary evil.
It is a necessary
evil. I'll give it
evil.
that.
And you guys do a fabulous presentation on how not to suck at LinkedIn.
It's easily done.
It is.
There's people that are really bad with it.
They are.
And there's certain things you need to do. And there's something. It's funny. I learned a lot by how you act as if the way you title yourself, whether or not it shows that you're looking for a job or whether it is you're a straight up company man.
It's very true.
Because it's funny, as soon as I put that I'm a company man and did all the things they told me, then I got laid off.
Yeah.
Right? So
and I wasn't going to, because I remember us having that conversation and you were all like gung-ho about, yeah, man, I'm changing everything over and it's going to be all Cisco. I'm like, okay, but it's your LinkedIn profile, not Cisco's.
That all got changed in 3 minutes. It wasn't a big deal. And to be honest with you, wherever I land next, I'll change it over to that. I know I'm a free agent. I wrote a blog called Being a Free Agent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to release it or not yet. But at the end of the day, it's a sales tool. I mean, that's really what it is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, to this day, I get recruited on a regular basis on LinkedIn. It's not something you see on the other platforms, but I appreciate you guys really push me to do the podcast. I mean, it doesn't matter that you start out a little rough. I mean, you gave me a lot of encouragement. So, yeah, I mean, we've had the director of social media from DTE on. We're going to be having we're going to be reaching out to the city of Sterling Heights to have them on. But the idea is to have a guest every week that has a career in social media or digital marketing, and just so if you're in that area of expertise, that you don't feel alone, because sometimes we seem like we're on an island because we work behind a computer all day.
Yeah, even though you're interconnected with cajillions of people every day. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and you talked politics leading right up into the election, and you did. I mean, it's been a pretty good show so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed the episode that we did, politics and social media. That was a blast.
Well, it's like, as we talked about in the first segment, I think people treat it what it's not supposed to be used for. You know what I mean? Like the whole, I hate this candidate. No, we get it.
Sure. I mean,
this guy lied. No, we get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really frustrating because you'd think that we'd learn, because you see people complaining about, I can't believe how many people are posting about politics on social media, and yet people continue to post
turn around
about,
and post.
No, I mean, the one thing that I always post, I think I post this every year. I might have stopped a couple years ago, but the one where it shows all the candidates and all their stances on everything, and to say, hey, educate yourself.
Yeah,
because everybody thinks differently.
Right.
I don't think you're bad because you don't think like me, or vice versa. I hope you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people don't have that mindset.
Well, I look at my Facebook feed as I try to make
it's
sure
filter book.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that my Facebook feed is filled with a lot of people who disagree with me. I don't think the same as they do, and
that's how it's supposed to be.
I really enjoy that I get to have multiple inputs, and I get to read lots of things that I may not have seen otherwise. And that really comes down because I just don't post a lot.
Well, yeah, and I mean, otherwise you wind up just talking into an echo chamber and hearing what you already think you know, and therefore, what's the point?
I'm not going to lie, though. I feel it's almost too easy. If somebody puts up one of those bad math memes, politics, I can't help but just to destroy it. I just can't. It's like an ant that's bugging me, and I have to swat it,
squash.
Yeah. And then I do it, and then I feel shame for because he was so proud,
and then it encourages 97 pages of discussion about why you're wrong and why the original one's right.
And they were so proud to post it. That
that's why I enjoy watching you troll people on Facebook.
I never troll anyone.
Dude, seriously, I read comments and I'm like, oh, Bob, yep.
Dude, never trolled anyone.
You don't have to admit it. We'll just agree to disagree. I'm going to be Al Roker right now.
Okay, Al Roker, yeah.
I'll poke holes in your crappy argument, but I won't troll. Trolling is I'm setting up to piss people off, on purpose.
Yeah, no, you're not doing that.
But what was that term? Sea lioning. That was that.
Is that the term?
I'll admit to that. Yeah. Fine. But if your argument sucks, I'll totally poke a hole in it. Or if you're a hypocrite, I'll totally poke a hole in that.
I was going through Time Hop, and I realized that I've been coming on the show since 2014.
Indeed.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And you guys are just killing it. It's amazing to see what you've done with this podcast.
We don't know why, but yeah, it's fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like we were talking earlier, we'd never listened to podcasting before we got started this, and we never had any preconceived notions, and we didn't know there were any rules. And now that we're deep into this, people are telling us there's rules, and we're like, there isn't rules.
Yeah,
you're not the boss of me.
Because if you followed the rules, it wouldn't be what it is.
Nope. No.
And that's what there was a conversation on Reddit about the new. They're raising money to start the Ferndale public radio station.
Right, I saw that.
And they want to play music.
Is being done by a guy named Dave Phillips.
Yeah, I know, right?
Who is not me. Let's just be clear.
Not you? Okay.
But they're like, we want to bring this to the community. I'm like, well, why didn't you? I go, did you ever think about starting a podcast? And they're like, well, no one will listen. At least now they'll find you on the dial. I'm like, well, yeah.
Will they?
You don't know how that works. You're going to stop on 100.7.
Let's be honest. When's the last time you used the scan function on your radio?
No, it's presets.
Yeah.
Right?
It's always presets.
Right. I'm going to preset 100. It's the same thing. It's no different than finding the podcast on your phone and putting it on Bluetooth.
Yeah, buy new car.
Right.
Install new stations.
What's your ham radio name? I think we're going to, no, but to completely dismiss it, now you got to raise a ton of money, and it's not cheap. to start like an actual radio station.
No,
It only,
you got to have an antenna, and you got to have
it only has a
and
mile
licensing.
circumference. Right. It only has a 1 mile circumference.
Oh. And by the way, then you're governed by the FCC.
That too.
You have those
that doesn't sound
rules.
fun.
And,
No. You know, we still have to figure out what my nickname is. And maybe, you know, with the thousands, how many thousands of listeners do you have?
In thousands.
In thousands and
Yeah.
thousands
I like
and
the
thousands. The shusher?
I like the
We're going to
shusher.
go with the shusher. Shusher.
I do. I feel like we need to get like Fosgit to do like a cartoon sketch.
That's straight out of Comp Sci.
Bob, are you on Snapchat?
I am.
Do you like it?
No.
Do you use the pretty filter?
No.
You don't use any of the filters at all?
No.
Why?
I don't, because I never take selfies when I'm out anyway. Like, why would I want to do it now?
Well, so, and that's the funny part. Like, people were laughing, or they were like giving me crap. They're like, "Okay, so you have pictures of you guys up on stage. Did you get any video?" I'm like, "Nope, never even dawned on me to fire up."
You guys
Snapchat.
didn't even think.
I
at
did a
all to grab-
Snapchat for Rob Bass for like 30, like whatever, the 10 seconds.
Yeah, but like us up on stage,
No.
never even dawned on me.
It didn't even register.
Like,
No.
I'm just so amazed. Like, every time you guys go out, and of course, you're on stage. I was not surprised one bit seeing the two of you on stage with Salt and Pepper.
I didn't want to. That was the funny thing. Like, I don't want to. And then like I'm getting trampled by girls who are they would slit my throat to get on stage if I could.
You guys weren't scrambling to get on stage for Ice Ice Baby or anything like
No.
that? No.
No, they were like
Bob wasn't
exploding
twerking.
water bottles.
Well, and he did the house techno remix of Ice Ice Baby.
He didn't do the...
No, he didn't go old school, which, screw him. Rob Van
That's
Winkle.
trolling right there.
And I go, Dave, let's get out of here. It sucks. And he goes, they got to play Ice Ice Baby. I go, dude, they already did. He goes, oh, that was it.
Not that. Oh yeah. Well, and there was, we were like, how does Vanilla Ice fill an hour? Because that's about what was left. Well, he pulls out Insane Clown Posse. He pulls out, a half an hour of techno dance music that we had. I still don't know if that was his or if that was just like random filler to have the clown jumping around throwing water bottles at people.
Awful. So, I mean, going back to Snapchat, Billy, like one thing I learned that I didn't know existed is you can like create your own filter and you can like geofence it up to like 10 meters or something. Yeah. So like one of our wrestling events, like one of the guys made like one of the guys' face paints. It was like $6 for like that day.
Right.
To like be able, but like explain it to me because I don't, oh boy, like if you missed an event, like, and you see it the next day on somebody's My Story, like,
yeah, no, I'll explain it to you like we're a few old guys.
I had fun and you didn't.
Snapchat.
No, it's kind of like me, like kind of like Charles. Like, look where I'm at and you're not. Middle finger. Like that's kind of his. that's kind of his Facebook. But I don't get it.
Well, all right. So let's say that you are. Lots of people will use a Snapchat filter. They're getting married, right? And so they want people to share their experience at the wedding, so they'll create their own filter for their wedding day.
I honestly, I compare it, or I look at it the same way that I look at like the custom photo backdrops that you see at red carpet events and that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how it is. I mean, we do that for...
But you can't keep them.
No, well, here's the thing that we're finding with Snapchat is that people now are... So Snapchat came out with this thing called Memories. So you can now save your memories or your snaps and create a story around whatever, whether it was like a trip to Cancun or a trip to Mexico.
But they all get deleted, Billy.
They don't. They don't. They stay now. I know. That's the great thing about you think that they're all deleted.
You know what that is?
Don't.
You know what that is? That's some guy at Snapchat said, you know what? Everybody's already onto the fact that we're not deleting them anyway. We might as well find a way to turn this into a feature.
That's right. That we can use to make money and bring brands on so that we can we have longevity. And I'm a fan of Snapchat. I still, the UI, the interface is a little quirky and it takes a little getting used to, but it's a fun platform.
Well, it's amazing. Like I remember having a conversation when we were just starting to drink, and me and Magic Mike used to argue about businesses, and he goes, "You know what would be great? Like a TV channel called like short attention span TV. Like the only shows are like 5-minute long shows."
Right.
And that kind of became YouTube, right? Where, you know, you have this little shelf life, like you can't have it longer than X, like to be watchable. And now you have Snapchat where it's 10 seconds and it's gone. You can never see it again. What's next? Like half a second, and then I'm just like
things beamed straight into your brain and be done with it.
Like a lightning bolt. No, but it seems like everybody, like the short attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and you know, and no shit, it's being adopted by kids.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of really cool channels on Snapchat where they're 10-second stories, but it'll be like 5 different stories. Like it's a continuation, even though it's only 10 seconds long. And then they'll switch it over to someone else in another part of the country. But the idea is that they're trying to turn it into like a new type of television station.
Is it replacing YouTube? Because what I'm finding is you used to take that minute clip at that concert and then post it on YouTube, right? And then go, look where I was and you weren't. Haha. Now I'm taking 13 10-second clips of the concert I was at all night.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Well, and I guess 2 things. So one, you publish it to YouTube, and then you got to send your friends the URL and to get them to find it. Whereas Snapchat, you can just immediately send it to your friends and be done with it, or publish it to your own story and whatever. But I mean, to your question about the whole thing with is it becoming a TV station or new YouTube? What was it, the Snowmageddon thing that had more viewers than like the Super Bowl? Yeah. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, we look at something like Facebook Live, right? I mean, Facebook Live
that sucks.
Really? You hate everything.
No, because I get notifications for it. I like social. I like sharing.
Turn the notifications off.
For everyone?
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
Thank God.
In one spot?
I don't think so.
I have to double check. I don't know for sure.
I just want them all. I don't.
You just don't
like
want
if I'm going through a feed in someone's live and I want to watch, I'll watch. But don't. I'm done with notifications.
I don't want all the notifications.
You know how many notifications I get?
I don't get any
between
of those
Clash of Clans and Clash Royale.
Yeah, I don't get any of the notifications when people go live.
And I get voicemail notifications and missed call notifications and Gmail and corporate email and
you can turn them off.
Batteries and
stuff.
So-and-so's nearby on Facebook. I don't care.
Can I shush him?
No. There's no more notifications.
He's getting dangerously close to Godfather.
I know.
Totally.
We can totally use that. But video is the big thing. I mean, it's beyond YouTube. I mean,
because nobody wants to read.
Right. Nobody wants to read. So you see lots of video on Instagram. You see Facebook Live. It's just part of what we're dealing with now. But the thing is not everyone's meant to do video really well. And I do exactly that when I'm watching people. It's like that's not really that interesting.
Well, it's
the people doing Facebook Live are like, so last night I was the Uber driver and this guy got in the car and he shit his pants and I was like, oh man, like that's every Facebook Live post I see. That's like that.
Or here's what I'm having for lunch and here's who I'm with. And but I mean, that's the good touch, bad touch of the internet, and it's regardless of platform.
Right,
everybody gets a voice.
Right, you give everyone a voice, you're going to get some crap.
Everybody gets a voice. Yeah, that's good touch, bad touch.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to ask me? Any other questions?
So what do you want? When's your show on?
Yeah.
My show is on Monday nights from 7 to 8, right before you guys.
Oh.
Well, I have a whole hour before you guys get on, but it's so that you guys can recover from all the goodness of the Scoop with Billy Sauter.
Yeah, the entourage that you bring, the 32 people in the studio, we have to get out.
I don't know. You got to shush people.
No, we got to shoo them, not shush. I don't shush.
You don't shush? No shushes?
I got shushed in Mexico.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Bob got cut. Let's just focus on this for a moment. Bob got cut off at an all-inclusive resort.
What?
Yeah.
They cut you off.
Yeah. Who the bartender cut me off, and then I said, well, why just me? And he goes, because when I stop you, all of this stops. And I'm like, what?
Just cut it off at the knees.
And one of the girls we were hanging out with, she was like, she looks me straight in the face. She goes, take it down a notch. And I completely I went on the other side of the bar. I sat by myself for 10 minutes, and I went up to her and I go, were you serious? No, God, I'm not. I was joking with you. I was giving you shit. She's from New York. Yeah. So I'm like, thank God, because I was going to I was going to Dave and lose my shit. You take it down a notch for the pool bar, you know.
Who carried you up to the room?
Nobody. I made it every night.
And you didn't toot in anybody's face?
No.
Nice.
Why did that happen?
No. And I plead the fifth.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I did fall on my ass outside and then dragged all the mud into the bed.
Oh, that's right. You slipped outside of the pool.
Yeah. No, and I slipped outside the pool, but then I also slipped. I slipped outside the pool, but I didn't fall. But I slipped outside we have an outdoor hot tub outside of our room.
Hot tub time machine.
Yeah, but we had a hammock outside our room. There's no way I was getting on that. There's no way.
You didn't even try.
No.
Why?
Like I would have flipped over and fell on my face. Like I foresaw it. The prophecy was true. Yeah,
it didn't even matter. It was just going to
happen. My Jedi mind.
You were supposed to make the vacation, not ruin it.
Yeah. No, but I broke my toe. I had a severe hip contusion when I fell. Like I walked like really bad for like 2 days, like doing the whole like spark, like the limp.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good times. I'll do it again. When are we going?
I don't know. Because we're never going to do an episode, or a segment 5 ever again.
No, I have the week off. Let's go to Toronto.
I do not, so.
Oh. All right, well, hey, let's wrap things up. We're winding down. This has been an awesome episode, 159 here of the ITintheD show. I'd like to thank our guests, Fred and Mark, for hanging out with us from the MEDC and from Delphinus. Do us a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here on behalf of Bob, Dave, and Billy. Appreciate your time spent with us. Thank you to Lenovo for sponsoring the show. And next week, 160, 10X, what 10X. We thought.
Not we, you.
Me. So, hey, do it. Like I said, drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You got to get the hell out of here. Drive careful. See you next week. Beat it.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy.
Make the run.
Run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Ruth.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe on the truth.
Bear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right.
Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up.
Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Yeah. Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city.
I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.
This is a previously recorded episode of the ITintheD show.